Three, two, one. Hey, everybody, this is Victor. I am here with Prasanna, and we are going to be talking about his flipping journey, how Prasanna went from full-time working full-time, to his first 30K net profit flip. How are you doing?
Hello, everyone. Hey, Victor. Thanks for having me over.
Yeah.
It's really great to be here.
Well, I appreciate you hopping on here. I know it's pretty early where you're at because you're in California. I'm here in Florida, so it's pretty early. So I do appreciate it.
Yeah,
But yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
no worries. Well, I did want to share like your journey because you've made a lot of progress. I think you've been in my program like 30 days, 60 days. It hasn't been too long, and you've
Yeah,
already
yeah.
bought and closed a flip, and we'll talk about that here. Um, let's start with this. Like, what's your background?
So coming to my background, first of all, to start with, I'm a non-immigrant here working on work permit, work permit visa. So and I'm from India.
Mhm.
I have engineering background. Done my undergrad in electronics, and then right now I'm working as a software engineer in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
So yeah, full time. I'm working on a full time job, and then why real estate? Why flipping?
Yeah.
Uh,
I was gonna ask you.
right, right from my childhood, I kind of grew up watching my parents. They're into the same space, real estate investments. They do a lot of passive investments. It's kind of there are no technical terms back in India called flipping, wholesaling, and stuff like that. But yeah, they're into real estate space. So I grew up watching them, and I really love the uh, uh, domain. And yeah, I'm really passionate. Since childhood, at some point, I know I would want to get into it.
Mm.
So, but then being here, working on a full-time job, having responsibilities and stuff like that. So it wasn't easy to make that transition because I'm on work permit. So I had to put a lot of thought into even now. Eventually if I want to convert full time, so I really need to know what I'm getting into and stuff because
Mm.
it's not so smooth of a ride. So but yeah, fortunately, yeah, I wanted to try it to see how it is, and yeah, I think that's how I got started.
No, that's awesome. Okay, so your background as an engineer from India, now you're here. So you were always interested in real estate. So like as you were trying to get started in real estate, like what were some of like the struggles or hurdles to like actually get started? Because this is your first deal here that you've just
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't ask me about that. I can talk about them all day.
fair. Yeah.
But on a positive note, yeah, we all have challenges and stuff up until we start. At some point, I think the biggest challenge that I faced was getting started,
Mm.
right? You have a lot of content online. You have a lot of inputs from friends, family, and stuff. I think the biggest challenge is to knowing where to start.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
that was the biggest challenge. I slowly started with passive investments. I've been a landlord since 2017. I bought a very small, extremely small property
Mhm.
in Texas
Yeah.
and held it for about 3 years. I recently sold it uh, uh, this mid this year. So
Yeah.
that was the starting point, kind of understanding the real estate market, getting to know the real estate space and things like that. But that's okay. That's one part that I wanted to do. But then that was not the only thing. I want to be more active. I don't want to be a passive investor.
Sure.
So that's how the flipping journey began.
Mhm. No, awesome. Okay, so you had that rental, now you got this flip going.
Mhm.
Okay, okay, cool. And do you feel like maybe analysis paralysis was a factor as well? Like, because you mentioned there's like a lot of content out there. Was that part of it too? Like you were just so heavy in research mode, it was kind of paralyzing you from moving forward?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, I feel the more you know, the more overwhelmed you get because there's a lot of
Yeah.
content. It's not structured data,
Mm,
right? So when you say, how do you get started with flipping? Few say, hey, do this. Few say, no, do something else. I mean, everyone speaks what it worked for them,
mhm.
mostly. But I mean, choosing one path, I think it's really difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have a structured format of learning or structured format of doing things. I
Mhm.
think that was one of the biggest challenges as well. And I mean, not to scare everyone out here,
Right.
but I mean, I wanted to share my experience. I mean, when I was trying to learn flipping and trying to learn the real estate space, I mean, there are a lot of courses out there in the market where uh, I mean, I don't know if cheating is the right word, but yeah, I kind of lost the money that I put into one of the courses
Mhm.
completely. So that added another level of barrier. I mean, are these guys trustworthy? Are
Mm, yeah.
these folks are really worth it? These people worth the time and money and things like that. So already you have lot going on. You have a lot of content. You have a lot of information. You're overwhelmed with all of that, and then on top of it, you add this level of trust, uh, which became an extremely challenging combination, to make decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I actually
I
remember, I'm
think
glad you brought that up because I remember you had this other program and it like just didn't go well at all. You
right,
lost a bit of money.
right, right.
So there's that
So
trust
yeah,
factor too.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, absolutely. And initially, I think when we started talking about the program and stuff like that, I know I've asked few questions in those terms. I mean, it was not that easy for me to get out of that, and because I
Mhm.
lost a big chunk of money.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for being patient. I really appreciate you
No,
being
no worries.
patient.
Yeah.
So it was that barrier, I think, a mental block
Mhm.
that I had. It was stopping me, for me to get started.
Yeah. Okay. Now, so we overcame the mental block, and okay, so you got started with me in the six-figure house flipper program, which is like the mentorship, where I kind of mentor you and help you. And you got a deal. We
Mhm.
have a deal. In full disclosure, so this is a deal we're actually doing together. So
Yes.
you're in California, flipping virtually, but we're working on this one together.
Hmm.
Um, can you like what are some, I guess, how should I word this? Like what have you learned so far with the deal? Like maybe let's start with that. Like what did you learn so far? What are your thoughts so far? That sort of thing.
Oh yeah. I mean, this has been awesome, as you said. Engaging virtually and doing something is not that easy because you don't know anyone out there. But thank you so much for the program, for the mentorship, and the opportunity in first place. I think another biggest challenge is to getting started with the first flip. I think a lot of flippers go through that journey. I mean, it's like not even 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 people go through that.
Mhm.
Getting started with their first flip. I'm really thankful and grateful to you for providing me the opportunity and letting me work with you on this project together. Um, so things that I've learned, maybe I can categorize them into two categories.
Okay.
One, things that I've learned from your course and the mentorship program, the inner circle, and the second category, things that I've learned from you personally
Mhm.
by working on the deal. So I'll talk about the program first. So program, it's a great program. I mean, I know there's a lot of similar content on YouTube, on the web, Google, and stuff like that. but it is not structured. I mean, it's all over the place. So you don't know where to start first. Okay, you don't know the entire process, entire sequence. Okay, what is that you need to know first? Do you need to know your market? Do you need to know, how do you find deals? Do you need to know how to work on rehabs, how to work with contractors, wholesalers, and stuff like that? So there's a lot of ton of content which is not structured. I feel that's my experience, and by going through your course, it's an 8 weeks program. It's really structured. You have everything categorized. Week one, okay, we look at the basics. So understanding the market, how do you look around in your neighborhood and things like that? How do you use Zillow and stuff like that? So everything is structured. I mean, it's like taking an undergrad program or a graduate program where everything is okay. You know what to do at week one, and then week two, week three, and so on and so forth. So that's the best thing that I learned. The second thing is the second thing that I learned that I really liked about the course and learned is everything you've shown in the course is using the real life examples, real time examples. So not hypothetically talking. Hey, okay, this you pick up a phone and talk to wholesaler with some script that you show. No, it's not like that. You actually pick up the phone and talk to these folks in real time.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest advantage. You can actually see you talking in real time in person and stuff. I think that's an extremely valuable thing I feel in the course, and I've learned a lot in terms of those conversations and from the course. I think these are the two biggest things that I've learned from the course. And obviously, to mention, obviously, I mean, from where I was like 4 or 5 weeks back, and where I am right now in terms of the knowledge, in terms of the understanding, it's really different. So those are some of the things that I've learned specifically from the course, and it's a great network. I mean, you kind of build the network. You have connected me with folks, a lot of folks. There is a Facebook group for the inner circle members. There's a lot of conversation going. There are a lot of great people out there. I mean, in fact, all great people. Everyone loves to help each other and stuff like that. So it's been great. So that's one. And not to mention what I've learned from you is yeah, two biggest things. And yeah, I want to take this opportunity and thank you and appreciate you for all your patience that you have been on this project, because I mean, as I told, it was very overwhelming, and yeah, since it's my first project, I happened to ask tons of questions, and you kind of patiently answered those. I mean, I hope those questions made sense, but few might be silly and few might be repetitive and stuff, but you never said no to anything, or you kind of never showed any discomfort or anything of that sort. You were really patient. So that's something I really learned and admire about you. The second thing is, I mean, this thing I kind of lack, and I know I'm not good at it, so I want to get better at it, is communication, being responsive. So, I mean, I feel that's extremely important when you're in this space. So, no reasons. I don't want to give any reasons. I might be working on a full-time job or whatever. But then, I mean, if you want to grow in this space, you have to be responsive. You have to be, on top of things. So that is something I learned from you, the way you are responsive. And yeah, I am trying to get better at it, and I will get better at it. hopefully for our next project.
Mhm. Yeah, the responsiveness, I want to dive deeper into that briefly because that's really key. Because especially like with the market being how hot it is, like if you tell a seller or whatever, like, hey, I'll get back to you tomorrow, I'll get back to you next week, like that's gone. That deal is gone. It's like that
Yeah, right.
responsiveness relatively quickly is
Yep.
really key. Because if you're sitting around and maybe over analyzing or over researching a project and it takes you a week or two, that's that the deal's gone. So you're
Yep,
not going to
yep,
make so much progress there.
absolutely. Yep. And on that, I think you brought up a really good point in terms of over analyzing and over researching a deal. I mean, we all do it at some point when we are starting and when we are at the beginning stage. But when you understand the nuances, I think you kind of get better at it. I mean, I know there would be a lot of people out there who are doing the same thing. It's okay, but I mean, if you're doing it for the first deal, it's absolutely fine.
Right.
If you're doing it for the second deal, it's fine. But I mean, if you look back from where you were when you were working on your second deal versus first deal, you need to see definitely your pace getting increased, right? So you need to act quicker, you need to make decisions quicker and things like that. So I mean, it's okay to start that way, but the goal is to get better at it every single day as you do.
I think that's spot on because you like just like you're saying, like your first deal is your hardest, then it becomes easier.
Right.
Awesome. Okay. No, I like that insight. That's really good. Okay, so we have this deal. So just to show the numbers real quick. So we're buying at 1. Are you comfortable sharing the numbers? Do you mind if
Yeah,
I? Okay.
absolutely. No, absolutely.
Okay,
Go for it.
gotcha. I didn't want to say it, and then you're like, wait a second.
Oh, no.
So we're buying at 103, or actually bought it because it closed 2 weeks ago. Kind of in the middle of renovation, getting the owner out. So buying at 103, putting in 25, and then selling for 180 is the plan. So those are the numbers right off the bat.
Right.
Pretty exciting there.
Yep.
With regards to like the program and the mentorship and that sort of thing, like, would you recommend others work with me as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you have any advanced level mentorship, I would opt for it as well. So I liked it so much, and you're really a great guy to work with. Yeah, it's been an extremely great journey so far.
Mhm.
So yeah, I would highly recommend. So I mean, for folks out there, I mean, trust me, I was really doubtful because I mean, I didn't kind of um, get Victor's contact through a referral or through a known friend or nothing of that sort.
Mhm.
I was listening to these random podcasts, and Victor was invited as a guest
Mhm.
for one of those podcasts, and then that's how I kind of knew him. And you have tons of podcasts and tons of guests and hosts that you see out there, right? But for some reason, the way you spoke in the podcast and stuff, I think it was Flip Talk.
Flipped, yeah, with John Costa, yeah.
Yeah, Doncaster. So yeah, so that's where I kind of saw. I really liked the way you spoke and stuff. So
Mhm.
I wanted to try after my bad, terrible experience in the past. So I wanted to try. So it was really not easy to
Mhm.
get started and make that decision. But then, guys, I definitely recommend Victor. I mean, the program is great. More than the program, I think you'll learn, or at least, I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but I'll speak for myself. I learned how important. I mean, what kind of a character, what kind of a personality is needed to sustain and do better and do well in the real estate space. So that's the biggest learning. And obviously, I mean, great mentorship program. I mean, look at me. So I was struggling with my finding my first deal, and Victor kind of gave me an opportunity. I mean, I never even expected that this would happen, but yeah, it just happened. Thank you
Yeah,
again, Victor, for that.
I
So I
agree.
would highly recommend the program to
Okay.
anyone.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the kind words, and it just helps people who might be on the fence, or they've maybe been burned in the past too. Like, that's a relatable story, because I've heard that a lot, unfortunately.
Yep. And another challenge with me was the immigration stuff.
Mm, yeah.
You kind of connected me to the right people, and we have connected with the right people. There are not many people who are on the work permit and kind of doing these flipping
Mhm.
as a part time, or who are actually doing this. But yeah, you kind of helped me network with right people in terms of
Mhm.
figuring that out as well. So yeah, it's a
Yeah.
great program, and yeah, happy to help. I mean, someone who's in the in the inner circle group of the
Mhm.
six-figure flippers, happy to connect with them and help help anything that I can.
Yeah. Okay. Well, awesome. And I appreciate the kind words, and I wouldn't. Yeah, it's good when you ask questions, because then I know, because I know you're saying like you kind of felt bad when you're asking questions. It's totally fine, because I know you're learning, and that's what happens. Like, you learn little bit by little bit. It's baby steps, then you get your first deal, which is what we've seen. So that's totally fine. But yeah, you've been an excellent student so far. As we wrap up here, like, any final questions, anything else on your mind that you want to share?
Um, no questions as such. I mean, yeah, as you said, I'm really grateful. I'm glad that I've been part of this program,
Mhm.
and I am extremely grateful and thankful to you for having me started with my first flip. Thank you for providing that opportunity. And yeah, I hope we take this really long. I mean, we
Mhm.
do a lot of deals and
Yeah,
work together and stuff. Yeah.
well, that's the plan. It's not just this one; it's the next one, next one, next one. And
Yep.
what's
Yep.
good,
Yep.
because the first one is the hardest, and you'll feel like the next one's easier, easier, easier.
Right.
It'll be like
Right.
almost effortless. Like, okay, I did a flip, I did a flip. Didn't even think about
Right.
it.
Right. And one thing that I didn't mention, Victor, maybe I think that helps, folks listening to this is, so I am in California and this is my virtual deal, right? But
Yeah.
I really want to learn the nitty-gritty of things, how things work,
Mhm.
basically. So with the program, or with, I mean, even if it was not a program, even with the deal opportunity, I think I really want to learn. So Victor kind of, gave me an opportunity to visit the property, stay there, and kind of, get involved with whatever
Mhm.
things or with whatever phases that I want. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
Awesome.
thank you again. That I am really looking forward to it. I hope I'll learn some good
Mhm.
project management stuff. So
Oh yeah. Oh, you will for sure. Yeah. I don't know if we mentioned that. So yeah, you're living in California, flipping in Florida.
right.
Um, awesome. Well, again, I appreciate you taking the time. I appreciate you hopping on here, sharing your story so far. This is how I see it, your first leg of the journey. And there's be the next leg, eventually hitting six figures, as long as you keep up this momentum, keep doing deals, all that good stuff.
Yep.
I appreciate you hopping on, and it's been great to hear and hear your side of things.
Absolutely, great to be here. And guys, let me know if you need anything that I can help with. Happy to help.
Perfect. Appreciate it, Prasanna. Talk soon.
Yep. Thank you. Thanks, Victor.